Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome to my channel if you're new here. This isn't content I would normally cover. We're going to go ahead and roll the intro, just give YouTube time to send out notifications, and then we're going to get right on over to watch the live coverage of what's going on with the missing submarine submersible. I guess I hear it referred to as submersible and a submarine. I also am seeing some pretty interesting things on Twitter about what it would look like if it imploded as it was descending into the water. Let's go ahead and roll the intro, and we're going to get right into this. Okay, you guys, I want to actually, I just saw things are coming on Twitter like this because I just went to Twitter and I put it in. I just put missing submarine, and so many things popped up. But one thing that it popped up was a video of what could happen as it's descending. Okay, I'm over on, let's see. This is the U.S. Coast Guard. Should we go ahead? Let's see. We'll back it up later.
Be able to get salvage equipment on time before the air runs out. Obviously, getting salvage equipment on scene is a top priority. Unified Command is working through that to prioritize what equipment we can get there. There are ongoing operations right now via the U.S. Navy and Transcom to get equipment staged in St. John's and to get it on scene. I can't give you an exact timeline of when that's going to happen. But what I can tell you is there is a full press equipment on scene as quickly as we can.
Thank you so much, Julie. Thank y'all. So from what's being said is debris has been found that they believe has come from this submarine, and they think that it is like very important pieces to the submarine that without it, it could not function, right?
Can you talk about equipment already on the East Coast, though?
Oh, yeah. So one of the men that's in the submarine, his wife is actually an ancestor to someone that died on the Titanic. They said that her grandparents were last seen on the deck holding hands as it went underwater, which is really wild to think about that this lady is losing her husband in this submarine that went down to view the Titanic. And years previously, her great grandparents died on the Titanic.
Or is it coming from the Pacific, for example? No, so some of the equipment that's coming is coming from the East Coast, but again, we're talking about very heavy equipment. It's a complicated transport operation, but the best professionals in the world are working it, and that's U.S. Transcom.
Yeah, when it comes to the equipment, can you go into more detail? Do you have a Curve 21 that's being shipped over to that location? And since you don't have a fleet tug vessel because the Apache was decommissioned, what other assets you have? You have civilian ships that could help out.
Yeah, so like I said, there are several civilian ships that have offered services heading that way. There are additional Coast Guard cutters. We hope to have a Canadian Coast Guard cutter on scene this evening. We hope Polar Prince has been doing a great job with those duties, but if we could take some of that from them, that would be good. But your question about specific equipment, I'm not going to get into talking about specific equipment. Frankly, I'm not an expert on what that equipment is, but again, I can tell you we have experts in the Unified Command that are going through that, prioritizing what we need, and then how we get it on scene.
Well, can you tell us about the personnel from Boston? How many people from here are out there, and also their equipment?
I want to play something really quickly. We're going to play audio of the knocking sound from the Titanic submarine during the search. Okay. And this is coming from Twitter. There's several things over on Twitter that are super interesting. Okay. So my only question is if it did implode as it was, I said descending, but as it was going towards the Titanic, what was the knocking sound that they heard? Let's see. Let's get back up here. Hey, babe, I'm on a live stream. I'll be in there in a little bit, okay, Bubba? I'll talk to you when I get off, okay? Let's see.
These two sharks pinged this morning at 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock in the morning. The two sharks are Andromache and Simon. Every living creature has patterns in their behavior, and this is not a pattern. This will inevitably get deleted by OSearch, the shark tracking app.
Come on, where is it? There's the video. Yeah, Schizo. Hey, Matt. I did hear that they were saying there were certain parts that was held together by zip ties. Like, what? Zip ties? Really? I'm not gonna listen, y'all. I'm scared of water. I can't swim. I don't even get in the water above my knee when we go swimming with my kids. Like the other day, we took them to the lake to my knee. That was it. I got into my knee. I'm throwing the football back and forth. I will not go no further than my knee. I am terrified of water. But to get in something that has zip ties on it, like I'm very curious to find that video that I just had a while ago. Okay, this is what I just on another link. I'm scared of sharks in a mud puddle for sure. For sure. You ain't catching me in a mud puddle. Okay, breaking Titanic update. Ocean Gate Titan.
Mic check, mic check, mic check, mic check. Microphone check, mic check. Microphone check. Mic check, mic check.
Okay. Ocean Gate Titan submarine has been found by the U.S. Coast Guard near Titanic wreckage. In the search for the missing submersible, the carbon fiber hull of the submersible imploded, killing everyone on board. Somebody said, I mean, gee, who would have thought? Who would have thought to look close to that Titanic for evidence? I'm like, ain't that where it was going? Why didn't we look closer? I'm trying to find the video that actually showed like yeah, there was a lawsuit filed by another couple. Is Flossie here? Oh, hey, Flossie. I'm claustrophobic too. I'm not going.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today and over the past few days. This afternoon, Rear Admiral John Mauger will be providing an update on the most recent findings from ROV operations in search of the Titan submersible. He will provide a brief statement and provide the opportunity for questions after. Please limit your questions to one per outlet. Following the briefing, the Joint Information Center staff and I will be here to help you with any of your further needs. May I now please introduce Rear Admiral John Mauger.
This morning, an ROV, or remote operated vehicle, from the vessel Horizon Arctic discovered the tail cone of the Titan submersible approximately 1,600 feet from the bow of the Titanic on the seafloor. The ROV subsequently found additional debris. In consultation with experts from within the Unified Command, the debris is consistent with the catastrophic loss of the pressure chamber. Upon this determination, we immediately notified the families. On behalf of the United States Coast Guard and the entire Unified Command, I offer my deepest condolences to the families. I can only imagine what this has been like for them, and I hope that this discovery provides some solace during this difficult time. Additionally, we've been in close contact with the British and French consuls general to ensure that they are fully apprised and that their concerns are being addressed. The outpouring of support in this highly complex search operation has been robust and immensely appreciated. We are grateful for the rapid mobilization of experts on the undersea search and rescue, and we thank all of the agencies and personnel for their role in the response. We're also incredibly grateful for the full spectrum of international assistance that's been provided. The ROVs will remain on scene and continue to gather information. Again, our most heartfelt condolences go out to the loved ones of the crew.
He looks
We'll
sad.
now take questions.
He looks so sad.
This was a incredibly complex case, and we're still working to develop the details for the timeline involved with this casualty and the response. And so we'll provide that information. So this is an incredibly complex operating environment on the seafloor, over 2 miles beneath the surface. And so the remote operating vehicle has been searching, and it is highly capable. And we've been able to classify parts of the pressure chamber for the Titan submersible. Let me refer to one of my undersea experts here, Mr. Paul Hankin, to talk about the nature of some of the debris.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Admiral. So essentially, we found 5 different major pieces of debris that told us that it was the remains of the Titan. The initial thing we found was the nose cone, which was outside of the pressure hull. We then found a large debris field. Within that large debris field, we found the front end bell of the pressure hull. That was the first indication that
there was a catastrophic event. Shortly thereafter, we found a second smaller debris field. Within that debris field, we found the other end of the pressure hull, the aft end bell, which was basically comprised of the totality of that pressure vessel. We continue to map the debris field, and as the Admiral said, we will do the best we can to fully map out what's down there.
Thanks, Paul.
Man, yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
It's a very difficult question to ask because the animal families, of course. What are the prospects of recovery for the bodies of
So the questions was related. I'm restating the question from the standpoint of sometimes it's hard to hear the question here. What are the prospects for recovering crew members? And so this is a incredibly unforgiving environment down there on the seafloor. And the debris is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel. And so we'll continue to work and continue to search the area down there. But I don't.
Essentially, he's saying more than like, I mean, their bodies is not going to be found with what happened down there. Even if any parts of their bodies was left, I mean, something will get rid of it pretty quickly.
Have an answer for prospects at this time.
Admiral Costello at NBC News. Is there any suggestion at all that the sub itself collided with the wreckage of Titanic, or that instead it might have imploded above the wreckage and then rained down nearby?
So the question was, is there any question as to whether or not the sub collided with the Titanic or whether it imploded above and debris field created from that? So the location of the Titan submersible was in an area that was approximately 1,600 feet from the wreck of the Titanic. I have an expert here that is familiar with that area and can talk about the debris field and what the debris field indicates in terms of where the casualty may have occurred.
Rear Admiral, really quickly, can you tell me when that massive fleet will be called back?
Thank you, Admiral. So the question is, where does the wreck lie in relation to the Titanic? I didn't hear the Admiral's answer. I think 1,600 feet. Was that correct, Admiral?
Yep, you got it.
So that's off the bow of Titanic. It's in an area where there is not any debris of Titanic. It is a smooth bottom. There, to my knowledge and anything I've seen, there's no Titanic wreckage in that area. And again, 200 plus meters from the bow, and consistent with the location of last communication for an implosion in the water column. And the size of the debris field is consistent with that implosion in the water column.
Thanks.
Timing. They're asking in terms of the timing.
I know it's early on, but is it your estimation that this happened right at the moment when they lost contact, an hour and 45 minutes after the descent?
I did read, I read an article from someone who had been in it previously who stated they did have to sign waivers, and the waivers did state that essentially something could go wrong and you could die.
So the question was about the timing of the catastrophic implosion. Right now, it is too early to tell with that. We know that as we've been prosecuting this search over the course of the last 72 hours and beyond, that we've had sonar buoys in the water nearly continuously and have not detected any catastrophic events when those sonar buoys have been in the water. So.
Can you describe what happens from here to the next?
So this happened before they got the buoys in the water, is what he's basically saying, because they were trying to figure out a timeline of when they think it imploded. And he says from the time it took them to realize it was missing and get those buoys in the water, it obviously happened before that.
Days and weeks in terms of finding any more debris. What happens from here?
So we will, the question was, what happens from here? What's the next phase? And so right now, again, our thoughts are with the families and making sure that they have um, an understanding as best as we can provide uh, of what happened and begin to find some closure. In terms of the large process, we're going to continue to investigate the site of the debris field. And then I know that there's also a lot of questions about how, why, and when did this happen. And so, those are questions that we will collect as much information as we can on now. While the governments are meeting and discussing, what an investigation of this nature of a casualty might look like. This is something that happened. I'll just remind everybody. This is something that happened in a remote portion of the ocean with people from several different countries around the world. And so it is a complex case to work through, but I'm confident that those questions will begin to get answered. The question was there any suggestion that time factors may have played a role or a consideration in the casualty here? And so the debris field is consistent with a catastrophic implosion of the vessel. Again, while we were prosecuting the search, we had listening devices in the water throughout and did not hear any signs of catastrophic failure from those. And so we're going to continue to investigate, or we're going to continue to document the information there and understand, based on all the information we have, the timeline. So the question was, what are the resources required for the investigation, and which ships will be pulling out and staying in? And so it's too early for me to talk about an investigation. That's a decision that's going to be taken outside of the search and efforts that I was leading. But we do have a number of vessels. We have 9 vessels on the scene right now. We had medical personnel on scene. We had other technicians on scene. And so we will begin to demobilize personnel and vessels from the scene over the course of the next 24 hours. But we're going to continue remote operations on the seafloor. And I don't have a timeline for when we would intend to stop remote operations on the seafloor at this point.
Admiral, as a result of this, do you think there should be changes in the way these are safety rated or inspected so that this won't happen again?
Yeah, the question was essentially about, do you think that there should be changes in safety ratings or inspection for these standards? I know that there's a lot of questions about why, how, when this happened, and the members of the Unified Command, have those questions too, as professionals and experts that work in this environment. And this is an incredibly difficult and dangerous environment to work in out there. But those questions about the regulations that apply and the standards, that's going to be, I'm sure, focus of future review. Right now, we're focused on documenting the scene and continuing the subfloor operation. So throughout the search efforts, we reacted to the information that we had available to us. And while we continue to send it off for deeper analysis, again, really complex operating environment for us to work in. Let me check with the experts, but there doesn't appear to be any connection between the noises and the location on the seafloor. Again, this was a catastrophic implosion of the vessel, which would have generated a significant broadband sound down there that the sonar buoys would have picked up.
This will be the last question.
And also, were all of the assets involved moved as swiftly as possible to the area? And was any help turned away as some lawmakers?
This was a incredibly complex operation, and we were able to mobilize an immense amount of gear to the site in just a really remarkable amount of time, given the fact that we started without any sort of vessel response plan for this or any sort of pre-stage resources. And so the equipment that was brought on site this morning that we were using was a pelagic ROV capable of operating at 6,000 meters, cameras, sonar, other articulating arms and resources on it. And it, we had to transport it here through C-17 aircraft. This is 2 aircraft that it took to get this up here. And so we've really had the right gear on site and worked as swiftly as possible to bring all of the capabilities that we had to bear to this search and rescue effort. And it was just a huge international and interagency effort to make this happen. So I'm really grateful for all of the responders that came out to support this and really search for the vessel. It is a difficult day for all of us, and it's especially difficult for the families, and our thoughts are with the families today. But this was an immense support, and we had the right gear on the bottom to find it. So thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for attending this afternoon. There are no future planned press conferences. Updates will be shared to the USCG Northeast Twitter page, and our staff will be available to take down any questions following this. Thank you. I can get that back to you afterwards, just so I can confirm. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, one and all.
Okay, let's look at. I want to look at this really quickly. This is just showing, like, I guess what they're guessing it would be like. The instant collapse of the pressure, the hull would immediately heat the air in the sub to around the surface at the sun's temperature. Oh my goodness! As a wall of metal and seawater smashed one end of the boat to the other, all in around 30 milliseconds. Look how quickly that happened. If this is in fact what happened. The instant collapse of pressure, the hole would immediately heat the air in the sub to around the surface of the sun's temperature. So let's just say if this is what happened, oh my goodness, that would, I mean, in a matter of seconds, they would have went from, I mean, they would have been on fire essentially. You know what I'm saying? Okay, the instant collapse of the pressure. So the pressure dropping, the inside of the sub, the air inside the sub would immediately be the temperature of the sun. Then the wall of the metal and seawater smash one end of the boat to the other. So it would like that. All in around 30 milliseconds. That's around 2,000 to 2,400 degrees Fahrenheit. Wow, that's just, man, that's unfathomable. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, holy crap. All 5 people on board the Titan submarine, which went missing looking for the Titanic, including a 19-year-old Strathclyde Uni student, Sulman Dawood, are presumed dead. The debris field was found in the search, with the sub thought to have imploded under catastrophic pressure. So here's the people that passed. An experienced ex-military submariner would never have climbed inside that billionaire's science project. Yeah. I want to get kind of a photo of the inside. I'm trying to find a photo of the inside. I'll come inside when I get off, babe. Here's that video again. I am curious about the noise, but I get, you know, because it said the noise that they found, it was like knocks going in 30-minute intervals. Like every 30 minutes, they would hear a few knocks. Missing Titanic submarine search team finds debris field on ocean floor, which, if confirmed, probably means submersible Ocean Gate vessel imploded. Yeah. I would never bring my child underwater like that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just couldn't do it. I'm gonna try to get. So, what's everybody's opinions on this? This is wild. Okay. The owner of the sub said he didn't want to hire any experienced 50-year-old white men. Oh. Did they find the submarine at the bottom of the ocean? Did they bring up the submarine? It imploded. There's bits and pieces. They have found pieces of it. They believe that it exploded essentially. This is essentially what they think happened. Let me go find that video again, right here. This is essentially what is believed to have happened. All right, I'm gonna see inside the. There was one guy who backed out of going and warned others not to go because a 50-year-old white man with experience told him he was nuts. Oh wow. What it's like inside the Titanic touring submersible that went missing with 5 people aboard. Probably going to be some sort of ads at
I
first.
love to give special.
Game controllers is how he navigated. I know that. Oh, he bought it from Amazon. The game controller. Wow. I was kind of blown away when I saw the controller that they use. I was like, oh wow, that's pretty wild.
At Zazzle.com.
Late last year, OceanGate founder and CEO Stockton Rush showed a CBS team the inside of the Titan submersible used for the company's Titanic expeditions.
Take your shoes off. That's customary. Okay. Wow.
All right, so it's customary you take your shoes off when you go inside.
Inside, the sub has about as much room as a minivan.
So this is not your grandfather's submersible. We only have one button. That's it. It should be like an elevator. You know, it shouldn't take a lot of skill. We run the whole thing with this game controller.
Come on.
That's it right there, you guys. That's the controller that they use to control it with. Like legit. You can't stand up in it. There's one toilet.
We're joined by David Gallo. He is a senior advisor for strategic initiatives with RMS Titanic Inc., the company that owns the exclusive salvage rights to the Titanic wreck site. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Okay, so this is the man that owns the salvage rights to the Titanic.
My pleasure, brother.
Now, this search and rescue effort is a desperate race against the clock, of course, to find the submersible and its crew before those oxygen supplies run out. What are your main concerns right now?
Well, I've been in this business for about 4 decades, and this is as tense as I've ever seen the community or sensed the community. It is a race against time. You're fighting oxygen levels. They should have a day or two more left of oxygen. Also fighting the cold if the sub is still in the bottom, because the deep ocean is just above freezing cold. So hypothermia is an issue.
I mean, I know everybody was looking at the time, like, of how much oxygen they had, but I was thinking that as well. Like, even without, like, with the oxygen, couldn't they have passed away due to the temperature?
I think one of the biggest things, where is it? Is it on the bottom? Is it floating? Is it midwater? And that's something that hasn't been determined yet. Hopefully, with all the help that's coming to bear, it will be found fairly quickly. But that's a dangerous thing to say, because I don't know if that means a day or 2 days or 3 weeks. And we'll have to wait and see and hope for the best.
Game controller.
If you have this, consider it.
Okay, so I think they said that he owned the salvageable rights. Is that what they said? I'm not sure. How does one get the rights to a salvage of the Titanic? I have no idea. It's really interesting. Any ship found and claimed in international waters is considered treasure instead of burial ground. In April 2012, historian Paul Loden Brown told the Journal, i.e., under the law which the U.S., Britain, and other major maritime nations adhere to, the vessel lying in international waters is effectively without ownership and no one can actually stake a claim on it. So I'm kind of confused because that's RMS Titanic Inc. won several of these legal skirmishes, and the U.S. District Court from the Eastern District of Virginia awarded the company salvor and possession. Okay. So awarded the company salvor and possession status and exclusive rights over any items salvaged from the Titanic. He doesn't necessarily own the Titanic per se. Okay, and there was something else. All right, so I think this is the one. Suburban man took trip to Titanic wreckage on Ocean Gate's Titan submersible with CEO Stockton Rush. 2 years ago, David Watt of Lake Forest was thrilled to get the chance to join Ocean Gate's expedition to the Titanic. I just don't understand. I would never. I'm scared of the bathtub, let alone. All right. The race against time to find. This is written obviously before pieces were found, and this news just came out. The race against time to find the missing Titan submersible, which disappeared near the Titanic wreckage, with 5 people on board, including Ocean Gate CEO Stockton Rush. The U.S. Coast Guard brought in more ships Wednesday as a surveillance vessel detected additional underwater noise near the search area. 2 years ago, David Watt of Lake Forest was thrilled to get the chance to join Ocean Gate's expedition to the Titanic. And 19, I would not have had the needed mental understanding of what I was risking. Yeah. Let's see. Not so much as even seeing the Titanic, but the whole process of going down 12,500 feet safely was so exciting for me. Thankfully, he made it back. Watt shared photos that he took from the support ship on that trip in the same Titan submersible that is now lost at sea with 5 people aboard.
Now, efforts to retrieve the sub have been delayed.
The Explorers Club has been trying to send life-saving equipment, but it's caught up in red tape. Joining us tonight is Kristen Romey, a National Geographic editor. Kristen, thank you so much for being here on a really busy night.
It's quite an event, isn't it? And we are getting it's designed to pick up steel-hulled submersibles or aluminum airplanes. And the concern here is that if that same equipment is used for a carbon fiber submarine, if people are still, alive on board, that this may damage the hull of the submersible and compromise it on coming up and endanger the lives if there are people still alive in the submersible.
Christian, you've said in a report that everything underwater there conspires to kill you. And if this Titan does surface, it still will take an exterior team to unbolt, and that is the time that could run out as well.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. Regardless of whether, the submersible is 2.5 miles down at the bottom of the North Atlantic, or if it's bobbing on the surface, this is a race against time because they cannot open the submersible from the inside. This needs to have an exterior team get to it in time and unbolt the submersible in order for the crew members to evacuate.
What are the search teams National Geographic has been in contact with saying?
In a lot of ways. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Explorers Club, which has been kind of petitioning the Coast Guard since Monday to bring out these specific submersibles with arms to safely bring up the Titan, I think this is why things have reached a fever pitch at this point.
And Kristen, you've talked about no human should be down at that level in the water, and that only robots should be needed at this time to make any kind of rescue.
I think we need to have an honest discussion.
I don't think humans need to be down there at all. Not even, to do this, but at all.
About what's being done at the Titanic. And a lot of scientists will tell you we do not need to put people down there in order to recover the scientific data that we need to. On top of that, the submersibles that we are putting down, we know these things literally ram into the wreck and damage the environment of the Titanic and can contribute to the decay of the wreck overall.
You would think some significant changes with safety and other things will come as a result of this search.
Yeah, definitely think there's going to be maybe some litigation put in place because from my understanding, it should not have been down there anyways. I literally saw one of the guys that has been on there before talked about zip ties holding things together, but yet you're being put into the water to go down. No. These are people, their lives were lost. Oh crap, I wanted to read that. Here, let's read this. Okay, here's one. A different one, but probably the same guy. Let me see. No, this is another guy. All right. I went on the Titanic submarine. It was a suicide mission. Amid frantic international efforts to locate the lost Titanic exploring submersible, experts point out that this isn't the first time the deep diving vessel has raised flags. A German adventurer who explored the Titanic wreckage on the same submersible that disappeared has labeled the voyage a suicide mission. Author Labille, who is 60 years old, told German outlet Bild, "I was incredibly lucky." He undertook the perilous underwater odyssey in August 2021, diving down over 12,000 feet to the famous wreck in the now infamous Titan submersible. Also along for the descent, which cost them over $100,000, were French Titanic expert Paul Henry, OceanGate CEO Stockton Rush, and who is the CEO and founder of submarine company OceanGate. So it looks like the owner, Stockton Rush, has been down there multiple times. Because this is the second person that has been down there before that has said that Stockton Rush went down there with them as well. They weren't regulated by anyone. Okay, they weren't regulated by anyone, and he bought stuff from Camping World and other retailers for it. And he brought the controller from Amazon, for crying out loud, it seems. I got one of those controllers in my house, So here is the guy. Ugh. If my husband ever wanted to do anything like that, I'm sorry, but I would talk him out of it. I really would. I really would. I'm glad you're feeling better, Pat. Okay, so that is a little bitty keyboard. There he is with a photo that he took from inside. There they are inside it. Let's see. There they are inside of it. They and three other passengers are currently trapped aboard the missing vessel, which is possibly located. Already know. Okay. So even back then, he says it was a suicide mission. The first submarine didn't work. Then a dive at 1,600 meters had to be abandoned. Lobel, I guess is how you say his last name, explained that they ended up launching 5 hours late due to electrical issues, which he suspects is to blame for the Titan crew's current predicament. Not only that, but right before the voyage, the bracket of the stabilization tube, which balances the sub, tore and had to be reattached with the zip ties. This is what I'm telling y'all. Unfortunately, the cramped conditions on board the Titan weren't exactly reassuring. He says you need strong nerves, you mustn't be claustrophobic, and you have to be able to sit cross-legged for 10 hours. During one of the dives, he even touched down aboard the ill-fated cruise liner. However, out of all the Daredevil's adventures, flying over Russia in a MiG-29 fighter plane and visiting both the North and South Poles, Lobel says the Titan's expeditions were the most extreme. That's wild. So this is the man actually that he brought someone to the North and South Pole. Someone famous. I don't remember who it was. As such, he is praying for the safe return for all parties aboard the sunken ship. It must be hell down there. There's only 2.50 meters of space. It's 4 degrees. There's no chairs, no toilet. So theirs may not have had a toilet. I did read about one that had one toilet, but maybe theirs didn't. I actually think theirs didn't. The sub, which is carrying British billionaire Hamish Harding and Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood and his 19-year-old son, along with the aforementioned 2 passengers, has been missing since Sunday and has fewer than 48 hours of breathable oxygen left, which we know now they've confirmed that it is imploded. So here's the controller. What if the batteries went out on this controller? Like, seriously. Okay, so here's one with the toilet, from my understanding. One toilet on the board, hidden by curtain when in use. Oh, can you imagine? Rear section is unmanned and contains oxygen tanks and electronics. No seats for passengers. Powered by 4 electric thrusters, 2 vertical, 2 horizontal. 5-inch thick walls, outer walls. Wow. 22 feet long, 9 feet wide. Wait. Yeah, wide. And they use this little controller. That video is horrible, but CNN describes found pieces bigger than what the video shows. Yeah, I'm sure some pieces blew off in bigger pieces. Yeah, no amount of money for me either. He said they keep backup controllers on board. That's good. Because I'm like, I know, I just had to change the controllers out this morning for my child's controller. It's like making a car kit in your garage. It was poorly designed and made allegedly. Mr. Ballin did a story on the Ford Dolphin accident, which gives a good description of how these implosions can happen. Yeah. The pressure from the water made it implode. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I just could not imagine being on that. At all. At all. Too risky. The only kid went because he trusted his dad. The only thing we can hope is that it happened so incredibly quick that they had no idea. That 1 minute they're sitting down there chit-chatting, and then it happened very, very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Everyone was sacrificed. How can they been allowed to keep doing it? Nobody was regulating it. It was just this. I don't guess. I mean, who do they report to that there were issues? You know what I'm saying? Other than the people that are there and the man that owns it, who's, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I don't know how they could keep doing it. I can't sit 20 minutes cross-legged. I know, right? That poor mom. I lost my son in 2002. It's hell the rest of your life. I'm so sorry, Rose, but she lost her son and her husband. Yeah. If I was 19 years old, I wouldn't even let the dad. I wouldn't let my dad go either. I mean, I would have tried to talk him out of it, but I definitely wouldn't have went with him. But I'm gonna continue. Anything else comes up, you guys? More information. How long was the trip going to take before it all happened? Just a day, right? I mean, I don't. How long was it supposed to last, you guys? They had oxygen for a couple of days. Okay. It was supposed to be a 7 to 9 hour trip. So just like a day in school, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, you guys, I'm gonna, if any more comes out, I'll let you guys know. This is wild. This is just so wild. You guys leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure you guys give this video a thumbs up. We might do a live later tonight where we just go live and talk about it, and I share the link, and anybody that wants to come up to chit chat can. It was supposed to be a 2-hour trip. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be days. Thankfully they had oxygen. They had enough oxygen that should have lasted for a while in case anything happened, but the unimaginable happened. You guys leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. I got to go talk to my son. He's coming here like 4 times. Give this video a thumbs up. It helps with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye, everyone.